Hey, welcome World Entertainment. We have an interesting story here, although quite frankly, I think it's pure wishful thinking, is that Zack Snyder is gung-ho on doing a Dark Knight Returns and more Justice League. Now, you're gonna see where this really becomes wishful thinking, because this isn't just because Paramount are buying Warner Brothers and that's official now. It's who wants to back Snyder. And that's important. It's the back Snyder. So this article talks about their insiders and stuff like this. And quite frankly, I think they're just being handed a bunch of crap. But at the same time, he has been talking a lot. Now this still comes on the heels of March. That he's been putting out all this stuff building up to March. Why is that? Well, because this month it's his birthday. Well, it was actually his birthday 2 days ago on the 1st of March. And then it's because this month marks the 10-year anniversary of BVS. That's why he's been putting out all these posts. But for some reason, all these insiders, supposed insiders, have been latching on to these posts and saying it's because the sale of Warner Brothers is happening and it's a restore the Snyderverse. The Snyderverse isn't getting restored. But let's have a look at this anyway, what the idea is regarding the Dark Knight Returns and more Justice League and all of this stuff. Again, it's quite wishful thinking. So it says, when this article came out, today is Zack Snyder's birthday and the timing couldn't be more interesting. With Paramount now winning the Warner Brothers Discovery bid, our insiders now say Snyder is prepared for something even bigger. Snyder was born March 1st, 1966, which makes this a milestone birthday, and it lands right in the middle of his recent March-themed teases. Per our insiders, so this is what our insiders are saying, Zack's gung-ho about Dark Knight Returns and the Justice League final. He's had it mapped out and well prepared. The two heads of the Saudi investment companies are massive comic book fans and fans of his, and they want to go big with the properties. Now that's the most important part, what they just said there. The Saudi-backed investment. What has that got to do with anything? Because Saudis can back him all they want. The studio is the one that goes yay or nay to the movie. So he doesn't own DC or any of these characters. Paramount are about to own DC and those characters. Doesn't matter how much money Saudi Arabia goes, we'll give you this to make it. Paramount can turn around and go, we have no interest in doing anything with Snyder. Why would we? Have you seen his track record? And Snyder already has a contract with Netflix, so that's where the wishful thinking part really starts coming in here. So the key detail is the boat angle, not the Saudi angle, just the boat according to this. The way it's being described to us now is that Snyder isn't choosing between finishing his Justice League story or doing a Frank Miller style Dark Knight Returns movie. He's looking at a path that includes doing both. That's huge. We previously reported that Saudi-backed interests were positioned as a major factor in a Snyderverse comeback, with our sources pointing to Snyder's existing relationship and the possibility of Christopher Nolan being involved as an executive producer if the right ownership and financing aligns. Again, you're hearing all this stuff about the Saudi stuff is how the Snyderverse is going to come back. What's the Saudis got to do with anything DC related? Nothing. They have no control, they have no say, they have no power. So the idea that, as long as the right owners come in and the relationships and blah blah blah, it's like, it's all meaningless gobbledygook at this stage. So we also reported an insider update that the Saudis wanted the Snyderverse restored, with Henry Cavill as Superman, and that Ben Affleck's Batman was described as possibly returning depending on how the pieces come together. We reported that the Saudi goal wasn't small. The idea, as described to us, was to rival Marvel with an event-level DC approach, which is why Snyder's social media activity ramped up while the sale process accelerated. Again, you're hearing all this wishful thinking. Whoever's writing these articles, I think it's their fantasy that the Snyderverse gets restored, because everything they're saying here makes zero sense. The Saudis want it restored. Well, good for the fucking Saudis. What's that got to do with David Ellison owning Warner Brothers and DC? Nothing. None of the money coming into this sale is through the Saudis. Although a lot of articles are trying to say, oh, the Saudis are backing him. His father is backing him. His father is the second richest man in the world. So he has plenty of money to back Skydance in purchasing Warner Brothers. Where this whole thing of the Saudis want the Snyderverse restored, good for them. But it's not happening. So now that Paramount has effectively won the bidding battle for Warner Brothers Discovery, the power shift becomes real. That matters because the new leadership's priorities will drive what DC becomes next. Insiders continue to tell us that Snyder's brand of large-scale, mythic event storytelling is a perfect fit for Paramount's go big ownership mindset. And we've already been told that Paramount plans to go big, including huge G.I. Joe movies, backed up by Deadline. So they're thinking, because they've said these are the type of properties that will be tentpoles, they think they're going to restore the Snyderverse. Yeah, okay. Don't forget, you're still going to be getting Man of Tomorrow in 2027. So where exactly do you think the Snyderverse is going to fit into this whole thing? You're looking then at 2030? That's the closest you'd get to it? Yeah. So over the past few days, Snyder and his circle have kept the spotlight on his DCEU era. Snyder's posts have leaned into March as a defining month for him, and his sharing of Henry Cavill as Superman reignited rebirth talks among fans right as the Warner Brothers sale news heated up. At the same time, Josh Horowitz has been using the Batman vs Superman 10-year anniversary to put Snyder back in front of a large mainstream audience, with a long-form conversation that included Snyder saying he'd never say there's no way about more Justice League in some form. Nothing has been officially announced, but if our insiders are right, and they often are, the plan isn't a single one-off. The pitch is bigger, featuring a Dark Knight Returns style project and Justice League sequel, both backed by deep-pocketed comic book fans who want to swing for the fences to take on Disney and Marvel. Again, why would the Saudis give a shit about taking on Marvel? That makes no sense whatsoever. So with Paramount now in control of Warner Brothers Discovery and Snyder turning up the volume in March, on his birthday month no less, it doesn't read like nostalgia, it reads like it's happening. But what they're neglecting to say is it's getting ramped up because this is the 10-year anniversary of BVS. Because every image he's been putting out has been from BVS, basically. So that is why all these images are coming out. But the fact that all of this stuff is, oh well, the Saudis have deep pockets and want the thing restored, and they're big fans of this and they want to rival Marvel and Disney. It's like, well, good for them. But quite frankly, who else around the world gives a shit what they want? Nobody. They have no power. They have no say. They have nothing to do with any of it. So why the Snyderverse would all of a sudden get restored? Because Paramount buy Warner Brothers, but the Saudis want to go up against Marvel. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. As I said, I think this is just this massive wishful thinking article that they're trying to will this thing back into existence, but it's not going to happen. Ben Affleck has said he's done, that he has no interest in coming back. Henry Cavill has said he's happily moved on. Gal Gadot has moved on. You're not bringing back Ezra Miller. All the rest of them, it's a joke. And there's still so many projects that are now in the works with James Gunn that Man of Tomorrow will be the make or break for Gunn. That's it. Like, if that movie comes out and it tanks, especially if it comes on the heels of a Supergirl bomb and a Clayface bomb, if those two bomb as well, yeah, Gunn will have Man of Tomorrow, and he'll probably be told by David Ellison, maybe, by the way, make sure the ending of your movie is a proper ending. Don't have it this bullshit open end for sequels because you ain't getting that. Time will tell, but as for the Snyderverse, yeah, that's not coming back. Could we get a Dark Knight Return style movie? That might be a possibility down the road, but would it come from Snyder? Doubt it. Time will tell though. But again, why this whole thing is the Saudis seem to be the ones that want it? Yeah, good luck with that. But what do you guys think? Do you think it could happen? Would you want it to happen? Let me know what you think about all of this. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and hit the hype button and all that good stuff. Cheers. Catch you in the next one.